What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to show you guys a new PvP team. Not one I came up with, I say that in advance. I have no idea who came up with it. I saw it with some people, copied it, and I think it is spread like over the community. I have no idea. But it's a very nice team actually, and the way I'm running it, you can see it in the background a little bit. I'm going to scroll to the right side so you can see the MFF2 intro layout. I'm running it as a very defensive team. We see 2 fans in here, we see 4 crowns, so it's not about the speed, even though I certainly use speed stones as the faster Terminator Vulcan. Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So the thing is, we are running Dot Purify here, and this is something that wasn't really possible in the past, because you just needed Control Purify to get rid of Starving Jar CC, of LFA CC. Because it was super dangerous to let a Starving Jar CC your whole team for 2 rounds and just not be able to do anything for 2 rounds. But this has changed now with Fire Elena, and we can see she has a passive skill. When an enemy releases active skill, reduces their speed by 12 for 2 rounds, removes 1 random control effect from 1 ally under control effect, increases other allies' control immunity by 15% for 3 rounds. Let's say my last team I showed you guys, which used 6 energy artifacts, would do 6 active skills on turn 1, that would be 90% control immunity for the entire enemy team. So good luck CCing anything after that. And then also enemy does an active skill like Starving Jar, for example, CCs 2 enemies, and then we have removes 1 random control effect from 1 ally, and from the Sublimation additionally from a second ally. So two CC effects that were afflicted by the Starving Jar, for example, would be removed instantly after she did the active skill, so not even any delay. And what this makes possible, we can actually check that out. Let's hop into the fight. I saw Woodworks has a CC team, pretty strong player from Utopia, runs Starving Jar with Starving Jar core. By the way, Phantom Fire Elena is pretty much a Starving Jar core counter. That thing is still meta in PvE, but PvP it's certainly lost some of its appeal. Let's go, let's do some attacks, and I want you guys to check out how much CC actually gets inflicted on us and how much of it actually sticks. Uses energy on the Starving Jar, and you could just see both of them were CC'd and instantly lost the CC again. Got an active skill here, another active skill, Anti-2 Horrifies Winish, and yeah, no CC after we got hit by an LFA, Starving Jar, and yeah, pretty much that. Another active skill that conveniently removed our affliction with Ferric Investor Silence, and that's basically it. We got a little bit of CC still stuck here, but nothing to worry about, and all of that gets removed pretty quickly as long as the enemy does active skills. And yeah, so it's not like this is a weak team. This is a team that last season could have won IDHM easily against the right enemies, with the Starving Jar and a good bit of luck. And this speed and the I know the Starving Jar, I think it's still the same. He had one with control precision CI offset that is absolutely insane. With this you can win IDA, so that is the power level of this team, and still it could not do much against a team like this. So the thing is, we are a very defensive team. This is like the most defensive team you can imagine. We have the crowns, we have everything. And not only that, we now have a variety of defensive mechanics. And those defensive mechanics don't not only include all damage reduction or damage reduction, they also include dodge. And dodge is pretty strong. Not getting hit by an enemy's attack at all, obviously insane. And we get that from our Phantom Fire Elena now. We get Shadow Lurk. Shadow Lurk per layer is 15% dodge. So we can get up to 3 layers, so we get 45% dodge from Elena at best. On top of some other things that she does. I don't really want to go into depth in that, but she can reduce energy, heal effect, CC the enemy, does a ton of heal. Not even expected, but she does a ton of heal. You will see that later in some of the longer fights you will see. We have a good basic that can reduce effect of being healed and some of the other stuff. We have a wall of text here that I will go in depth when we review a Phantom Fire Elena. But the essence that you have to take away, she reduces energy, she heals for a ton, she gives us dodge, and she removes CC. and reduces the enemy speed. Those 5 things you have to keep in mind when you know her, and that is then you are alright. Then we have MFF, and with MFF we have Mirage Pollen, and that is a debuff inflicted on the enemy, a skill effect that they can't purify, and that gives their attacks a 35% chance to be dodged, which is also absolutely insane. And of course stacks with the Phantom Fire Elena stuff, and when you go into the longer fight in a few seconds, then you will see that there are attacks that hit like absolutely nothing, and which is wonderful and very much insane. We of course profit from everything Mystic Fairy Freya gives us. On top of that, like the 12% damage, all damage reduction, and the 12% attack. This is certainly nice, and then all of the damage buffs as well. The next thing you have to keep in mind, our main homeowners are not SQH or Phantom Fire Elena. Phantom Fire Elena has like a home with pretty bad tenants, mainly to give her some speed. SQH has pretty bad tenants as well. She just gets some HP to get the end of turn heal from her ultimate queenship passive, which gives us some heal at the end of the turn. You will see that. Not too much, but it is rather nice to get a little heal just to not get hit into Unbending Will by some of the dot that will get inflicted on us. And on top of that, we have some all damage dealt from the Queen's Guard, the all damage dealt pings, and the Queen's Guard all damage reduction from the Sublimation. Our main homeowners are in fact mainly Ferrokin Vessa, which is, well, in the longer fights against copy teams that run Stigma Storms as well, she will have perceptual disorder on her on all the time, really. When she breaks out, it's nice to have her do an active skill, get some shields going, but other than that, I mainly have her as a main homeowner to have good stats for Star Expedition, and in the fight in PvP, she doesn't really do much, let's be honest. But we have some buffs from her, which is nice. We have Blazing of Priority that can stop our heroes from getting crit and reduces the dot a little bit, so she acts a bit as a support while still being able to do good damage when we go down to some heroes of the enemy team that died and some remaining. Then she can deal some burst, and which is quite insane as well. And our main homeowners really that are important are Doom Terminator Vulcan at 9.2 million attack, which is absolutely enough for PvP. For PvE you would want a bit more. And what he does is basically he destroys the enemy with 1,000 hits, as you will see in a second. And the main point when you fight similar teams with crowns and everything is really his weakness disclosure. And weakness disclosure is a skill effect that is activated once he reaches 15 layers of analysis. He gains 1 layer of analysis at the end of the turn, and every time an enemy releases an active skill, is usually only gives him 3% damage reduction. But once he reaches 15 layers, he activates weakness disclosure. Weakness disclosure increases his damage reduction by 45%, making him uber tanky. And then all of his attacks till he does the next active skill ignore 100% of all defense mechanics in the game. And this hits for billions of damage per hit. And he does like 1,000 hits. So once he activates it, does an active skill, he wipes the enemy. Enemy team is gone. So one of the winning conditions of this team is actually to just survive till weakness disclosure gets activated. Then have the Doom Terminator Vulcan be faster than the enemy and just murder him entirely. And that is the idea of it. Then we have Star Alchemist Holmes, can deal pretty good damage as well, especially when your Doom Terminator Vulcan is under perceptual disorder. Then it's nice to have some attack on the Star Alchemist Holmes Young as well. He inflicts perceptual disorder, which is described down here, and during its validity period changes the active and skill and basic attack of affected heroes to poisons one of the allies at random, dealing 1000% attack damage for 6 rounds. So it basically negates active and basic attacks as long as perceptual disorders on the enemy, which means we want him as fast as possible to keep the enemies from attacking, which are the 2 highest attack enemies actually. Make sure you get the Eye of Destiny sublimations here, especially the Noble one. Increase the duration of the potion obtained from Eye of Destiny to 2 rounds, so that makes it possible for him to have a higher probability to inflict perceptual disorder, and that is rather nice, and we really want that. Other than that, make sure to have a fast copy. This is not a fast copy. I'm still in the market and looking for a better copy. I have one with better speed, which would be better for PvP, but for now I stick with that. I'm probably going to go for an 80 copy with bonker speed, but that is something for the future. For now, we stick with that, which is not optimal. Core, we use the Star Alchemist Holmes core, At +5 currently, I'm going to max the Vulcan core to Noble, and then going to go for the other two, for the PDE and the SQH core to get a collaboration 7 again for this team. And this heals us, gives us ton of attack and armor, and makes us uber tanky, so it's the best core by far you can get for this team. So now let's fight. Well, it's a PvP video, so who are we going to fight? If you've ever watched any of them, you know it's time for Mr. Daiko. And the mean thing this time, his team is better than mine. I just showed you the reason. He has a wonderful 8-tier Stigma Storms with a speed, let's say it's above 60. I don't want to disclose his exact speed, but it's above 60, and mine isn't. So his Stigma Storms actually faster than mine, which yeah, can lead to some problems. But if we are going to get defeated, I will accept that. What I want to show you guys is how mirror matches like this work. It's nearly a mirror match, not exactly. He's running an Arania. And how those work and how they end often with either some lucky bursts from Doom Terminator Vulcan that's just sent down one hero, or by Doom Terminator Vulcan activating weakness disclosure and murdering the enemy. And I want to show you guys that, and I know Daiko's team is super strong, so he is one of the guys that can make that possible. We could fight Jesus, but Jesus tends to destroy me. Yeah, and not even by weakness disclosure, just by having bigger stats, and that is yeah, that is not so cool to watch. I have no idea, by the way. I think his team is set in the friend. This is not even his real setup, because he has no artifact on the MFF, it seems. At least not a crown, so might be an energy artifact. Did this thing just do an active on turn 1? I'm not quite sure. And you can see Perceptual Disorder now on my Ferric Investor. He's doing the same. We didn't get lucky. His Stigma Storms actually dodged my Perceptual Disorder that my Stigma Storms wanted to inflict on him, so that didn't really work out. And yeah, the game starts lagging quite a bit under all of those damage over time effects. We are purifying them. I think he has Dot Purify activated as well, still looks like that. There's MFF now getting dangerously close to death, but still surviving is rather a miracle. And there you could see a bunch of dodged hits. Well, you couldn't see the hits because they were all dodged and there were no numbers, but yeah, ton of dodged hits here. Broken Ferrocene Vessel basics. We know the game. That is how it works. I think at one point, yeah, was about time this Mystic Fairy Freya died. I still hope we can get into weakness disclosure the way we actually see it. You see that circle behind the back of both of those Vulcans. Those are the ammunitions that they have. The more this shines, the more ammunition they have. And as soon as he gets like a glow around him, that I will alert you once it's happened, then weakness disclosure is active. And then the next active skill, any one of those Vulcans deals, and no matter how many of the other heroes in the team survive, this will murder the enemy team. So if his has no Perceptual Disorder and weakness disclosure first and does an active skill, then this will murder my team. If mine is faster, now it's activated, and there it is. And there it is. This is the way fights like this go. Mine was faster, had no Perceptual Disorder, so I murdered his team. If mine had Perceptual Disorder and his didn't, he would murder my team. And one thing, fellow Discord community member, by the way, join my Discord server, is in the description, it's quite cool there. Brownie alerted me of was when we are in that situation with weakness disclosure or in general an active skill, and he has Perceptual Disorder on him, does the active skill, he does not consume all of his charges like he would if the active skill actually hit. You can see that because in the next round he will gain all of his energy back. And this is part of the passive skill of his last passive. When the cap of any charged energy is reached, gains 50 energy instantly. And by having that, he gains basically 50 energy per full concentrated ray. If he has 6 concentrated ray, he gains 50. If he has 4 magic explosion, he gains 50. If he has 2 freezing pieces, he gains 50. So he can gain up to 150 energy a round if all of this is kept. Usually we cap on concentrated ray and magic explosion, as freezing piece requires an enemy or an ally to die, which doesn't often happen, but in that case we had like only the MFF dice, so that wasn't kept. But magic explosion, concentrated ray are kept often, and then we get 100 energy. And then Weakness Disclosure is active. For the main damage dealer Doom Terminator Vulcan, by the way, you can... you don't really need the basic Sublimation, though it's nice to reduce frontline energy. But I would definitely go for the active Sublimation and passive 3 and passive 4 for the energy gain, and here for the analysis weakness disclosure stuff. This is super important. Super important. You want analysis and weakness disclosure just to clean enemies up like we saw on that fight before. And yeah, this is about it, guys. I give you one more chance to screenshot the team. I can't put it all on one screen, sadly, but I can like let you make 2 screenshots. This is that, and this is that. And one thing I missed, I also invested into star spawns before we end the video. Let's show you that. Those are my star spawns. We invested heavily into defensive options. We got the green one here, 10.2% damage reduction, 10.6% HP. We got this one with 14%, block 27.8 armor. We got up here to the crit damage reduction, 21.3%, and then the block 33.8%. This gives us block damage reduction, crit damage reduction. It's a ton of defensive options. If you want to run this team, this can help you survive all of those early rounds without losing heroes, and if you heavily go into that, that is definitely helpful. The rest are as you want. I mean, like in the end, weakness disclosure triggers, and yeah, that lets you murder the enemy, and of course attack and the all damage that can all help. But I really like the defensive ones, so if you have an endgame account and have a ton of star spawn materials, maybe take a look at that. Also helps you in Star Expedition, by the way, because you don't really need to put something like Olivia or Gurki into a home anymore, as they just survive by themselves. If we just check out, let's check out the random carry here. 73.5% block. Does not run anything block related, but has just 73.5% block of the get-go. We have 20.1% damage reduction, despite not even having a damage reduction passive, I think. No. So yeah, this gives you a ton of defense options, and the armor, of course, I didn't show that. 2,753, so quite a lot. And if we check out the warrior, this is actually a lot more. Let's check out this Aspen. We have over 3,000 armor now on this Aspen. We have 81.8% block. We have 12.1% damage reduction, and on forest heroes, that is even more. If we check out the forest warrior, that should be kind of bonkers. 3,874 armor on that panda here, with 23.2% damage reduction, 140. Does he have an A and B? Oh, he has a block passive. He has a block passive, right? Yeah, 60% block. So this guy is now at 143.8% block. Not even using a block stone. Do we have a block stone? We have a block stone. We can go for bonkers block. 171.8%. Do we have an A and B? We have an A and B. Come on. 221.9% block. That is just insane. Didn't even try that out before. That's really fun, yeah. So some defensive options can definitely be cool, and it can be kind of bonkers what you can achieve with it. So keep that in mind. Build the team, tell me what you think about it. I wouldn't be surprised to see that like 7-8 times on the pole position on the leaderboard in IDA Championship when we do the next stream. I think this will be one of the best new meta teams. There is a counter team to it on iOS already. They made like a SFX burst team with Wraec involved. Eager to see if that can do something on the IDA Championship. If some people build this, I will be very eager to check that out. For now, I wish you guys a great week, and we will see us in the next one.